Alright. Make sure we are good to go. Alright. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of System Shock Radio. I, as always, am Joe Snigel, and today, ladies and gentlemen, of course, we're going to go through our topics as usual, and then at the end, we're going to talk about what we're going to be discussing next week for episode 50. But man, I can't believe we're 50 episodes in, we're 49 episodes in, but we're about to be 50 next episode. But without further ado, let's get into it. So I only have a couple topics for today, and the first one is going to be Mega Man. So Mega Man is a game also known as Rockman in Japan, and it was released in 1987, published by Capcom. It was originally released for Famicom and NES, but over the years, like with other game franchises, it eventually made its way to other consoles like SNES, PlayStation, and all that. And we even have, of course, the Legacy collections, not just for regular Mega Man and the original series, but Mega Man X series as well. Haven't gotten around to playing those, but Mega Man, and pretty interesting game now. Something that makes the game pretty unique and that makes it stand out is, for starters, it's a bit of a difficult game at times. Sometimes projectiles can phase through walls, but so can yours sometimes. And visibility frames, of course, it was the 80s, so visibility frames weren't always there, and a lot of the enemies can be a bit annoying and unforgiving. But something else that makes it interesting is a rock, paper, scissors type approach to gameplay, where first of all, in the first game at least, there are 6 bosses. This gets upgraded by the time 2 and 3 come around. We have 8 bosses, but for the first game, there's 6 bosses, and you gain a new weapon for each boss that you defeat. So, but your starting weapon is the Mega Buster, also known as the Rock Buster in Japan, and basically it does a decent amount of damage, and you can take out the first boss relatively easily with it. The first boss that's recommended is Gutsman. But then when you move to the next boss, which is Cutman, now the bosses you can tackle in any order you want. You start off with the 6 bosses, but you can head to any boss that you want and take them out. But start with Gutsman, which is what I started out with, what a lot of people recommend, because the weapon you gain from him is Super Arm, which allows you to pick up rock-like blocks and throw them at your enemies, and you're able to do that to Cutman, and he's weak to Super Arm. And then you get Rolling Cutter, which you can use again, and Lekman, I believe, and then Lekman and weapon Thunder Beam takes out Iceman, and then Ice Slasher takes out Fireman. So each boss that you defeat helps you take out the next boss in a way. So there's a specific order. You can tackle them in any order you want, and you can, of course, defeat all the enemies with the Rock Buster, but tackling them with the specific weapons that you get from the other bosses will help you out in the long run. And like I said, it's a difficult game, but it's a fun game. Of course, it's platforming, all that stuff, in a bit of run and gun style, but sometimes you have some puzzles to complete as well. But for the 80s, for a game that came out in the 80s, of course, 87, and it's a game that I think surprisingly holds up. Now, I'm currently on Mega Man 3, but apparently the other games are pretty fun as well, and the Mega Man X games as well. And of course, Mega Man is in Super Smash Brothers. He's recognized by a lot of people as a gaming icon, all that stuff. So, Mega Man, pretty cool game franchise. Definitely, you gotta complete 3 and keep on in the series, and it's even going to this day. Mega Man 11 released, I believe, either last year or a couple years ago. Oh, I believe, yep, came out in 2018. And so, even to this day, I'm just going to tilt the camera up, but even to this day, it's still going strong, and I think we're better off for it. But next up is a question for you all, and that is, which Spider-Man will be in Into the Spider-Verse 2? Now, the first Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movie, really, really awesome movie. I recommend it, not just because the story is really good, which it is, but the main attraction when it comes to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is, of course, the art style. That very, I don't want to necessarily call it cel shading, but the fact that it looks like a comic book, but it's so fluid and visually stunning to look at. This movie is absolutely gorgeous to look at, and apparently it took the development team years to make the movie just off the animation alone. But I think the fruit of its labor pays off now. But now, of course, there's going to be a sequel, and it's supposed to come out next year apparently. So who all is going to be in it? Obviously, there's going to be some returning favorites. I imagine Miles Morales is likely going to be making his way back to Into the Spider-Verse 2, and even the original Spider-Man, Peter Parker, is going to be making his way there as well. But what of other Spider-Men? And which ones will be making an appearance for the first time in Into the Spider-Verse? A couple ones come to mind. For starters, there's Spider-Man 2099. Now, technically, he was in Into the Spider-Verse. In the post-credit scene, he had the interaction with the 60s Spider-Man, where, they did the meme thing where they point at each other and stuff like that. Really funny scene. But hopefully he plays a bit of a bigger role in the next Into the Spider-Verse movie. But the other Spider-Man that I'm predicting is going to be there is Ben Reilly, the Scarlet Spider, because, let's be real, if there's a Spider-Man related anything, he's going to be there. He's probably one of the most recognizable Spider-Man that's not Peter Parker, and it's been like that for years in almost every Spider-Man game. Ben Reilly, he's Scarlet Spider design, which is, of course, the red bodysuit with the blue hoodie. That's pretty much like the default costume. It's not a Spider-Man game with alternate costumes without Ben Reilly being in that game. And of course, the story of Ben Reilly is pretty interesting. Of course, he's a clone of Peter Parker, or all that stuff, but hopefully he makes his way into the next Spider-Man movie. But I'm excited for it, the next Into the Spider-Verse movie. But I am excited to see where it goes, and the first one did so well visually, and I can't wait for the next one. And so 2022 is when this is coming out, and I can't wait to see it. And of course, we are getting Spider-Man No Way Home later on this year, next month. A lot of hype surrounding that, and of course, with Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire likely being in there, Dr. Octopus going to be in the movie, Lizard, Green Goblin teased to be in the movie. I'm excited. Spider-Man's the GOAT for a reason, and this just proves it. But next up, I want to talk about the new Super Mario Bros. Series. Now, basically, the new Super Mario Bros. Series started in 2006, I believe. Either 2006 or 2005. And what it is it came out for the Nintendo DS. 2006. And it's basically, the old school style of Mario games. Now, Mario is known for a few different gameplay styles. That's the one thing I really like about the Mario Brothers games is Mario finds a way to reinvent himself. So he had the classic platforming, and then of course there's the 3D platformer games such as Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Sunshine, and then of course there's games with different gameplay elements that are new, such as like Super Mario Galaxy or Super Mario Odyssey, which came out back in 2017. Mario constantly finds a way to reinvent himself, but sometimes you want to go back to the basics, and that's essentially what the new Super Mario Brothers game did. It went back to the basics, and it was a 2D platformer. And before that point, it had been a while since we got like a brand new 2D platformer for Mario. We got, of course, the Game Boy games, but those are more like ports of the old school Super Mario Brothers game. But nope, this one's brand new. We had some new power ups, levels, all that good stuff, and it's a lot of fun stuff. I remember it was the first game I got when I got my DS, and I remember I would spend hours playing this game, and to the point where I had a lot of the levels memorized. Like, back then I wasn't very good at video games, but it was still a lot of fun to traverse through the levels and play them. And of course, the new power-ups that we got with the new Super Mario Bros. Game. There was a couple. For starters, there was the giant mushroom, which they advertised the crap out of. And basically, for about like 15-20 seconds, Mario would turn gigantic, destroying pretty much anything in his path, blocks, enemies, all that stuff. And you got like extra lives the more stuff you destroyed. And then, of course, there was the turtle shell, which is probably one of the most, it's one of the most polarizing when it comes to power-ups in Mario games. Either you like it or you don't. Me personally, I liked it. It was interesting. And basically, Mario was outfitted with a shell, and if you ran fast enough, you can turn into the shell. And go back back and forth. You could destroy blocks. You could take out enemies, pretty much like when you launch a Koopa shell. But you are the Koopa shell, and that was a lot of fun. And then, of course, they took it to the Wii's. We had New Super Mario Bros. Wii. You're pretty much the same concept. A couple other new power-ups made their debuts in the Wii version. We had the penguin suit and the ice flower, which pretty much almost had the exact same like powers, but except the penguin suit also allowed you to swim, similar to the frog suit from Super Mario Bros. 3, I believe it was. And then, of course, we got New Super Mario Bros. 2 for the 3DS, and that version introduced the Tanuki leaf, which was similar to the leaf that we got in Super Mario Bros. 3, and the other power, the gold flower. Now, the whole premise of Super Mario Bros. 2, New Super Mario Bros. 2, and like the main appeal of it was all the gold you could collect, a whole bunch of gold coins. You got different like statues and stuff, and different rewards based on like how many coins you collected, and it was a lot of fun. And to collect so many coins and to see it like continue to build up in terms of the type of stuff you get. Now, it was a bit more of like a novelty thing. A lot of the like in-game statues and stuff you got when you collected X amount of gold coins, but it was still kind of fun. And then finally, there was New Super Mario Brothers U for the Wii U, and not really too much more. The world layout was a bit more open world, and we got the acorn suit this time around. But yeah, so all these innovations. Now, a lot of gameplay, when you boil it down to it, did feel kind of the same, which is why some of these games were kind of not liked by as many people. A lot of people feel like New Super Mario Brothers for the DS was where it peaked and was the best, and then from there it didn't get as good. And me personally, I like them. Like, I'm someone who enjoys their 3D games, but does like a bit of 2D platforming. And I think if you enjoy like 2D platforming when it comes to Mario, but with a little bit of a twist, I say, hey, these games are probably for you. Of course, New Super Mario Bros. U also got ported to Switch, so I was able to play it there. But a little bit of fun. It's definitely a fun time and all things considered. And the final topic I want to talk about is confidence. Now, what is confidence? It has a few different definitions. The first being the feeling or belief that one can rely on someone or something, or from trust. And then there's the state of feeling certain about the truth of something. And then finally, there's a feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's own abilities or qualities. Now, confidence is something that I feel is important, and it's something that gets talked about, but I feel like some people lack confidence. And I'll admit there's some times where I lack confidence as well. But self-confidence is so important because it allows you to trust in yourself, to believe in yourself, and sometimes it keeps you going. And confidence isn't easy, but it's something that's useful, I feel like, and it's something that can be seen as important, and something that some people should have at least some level of. And but yeah, so that's gonna do it for this video. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and of course next week we're going to talk about, for episode 50, we're going to be talking about the O.J. Simpson trial, so you'll definitely want to stay tuned for that. And not next week, next episode. Next week is going to be, of course, Ned Dixie's Tales from the Labyrinth and the poetry readings, and it's going to be episode 10 of that, so I got something special planned for that. But thank you for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace.